Alright, so it's Kindred. Oh my god, this art. So it has to be Shadow Owls.
Never one
without the other. Shall we, dear wolf?
5 mana 4/4, Kindred, quick attack. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. I've seen you slay 2 of my marked enemies. What? Wow. So all you have to do is slay a unit, and then the weakest enemy will just get killed by Kindred.
I'm ready, little lamb.
Oh my god, that's so good.
I
He gets the... Wow. This is so well done. Give the weakest ally, I can't take damage or die this round.
Threads of fate, unraveled and rewoven.
It's a 0-1, but I bet it has some insane effect. Kill a unit, then revive it. Yep. Wait,
An
what?
interplay of shadow like dappled sunlight.
What is that? Wait, the synergy with Kindred is insane.
That was fun.
Oh my god.
Everyone.
The first time you slay a unit this round, grant me +2/+2, and I mark the weakest enemy. +2/+2. And it doesn't even matter who you slay. Yuliaz, Grimgaze, welcome, and thank you for the follow. This seems so good for a Nasus deck. The fact you don't even have to slay an enemy unit, but could you slay your own
Dear
units
wolf.
to get the bonus is ridiculous. It's like a killing engine. Wow.
Hunt it down.
With grace and precision.
Clear up the chase.
This looks so damn cool. Oh my god. Kindred looks insane. Alright, I can't wait for the Mobalytics reveals. 5 mana 4/4 for Endure. What did they like before that they would play a Netherglade Collector? Oh, because I because I made the comment about Freljord. Dude, this is so cool. I don't know, I'm ready for Dehu Endure to take a slightly different direction. And then actually being like a fun deck to play because of this stuff. It'll still play like Atrocity. But this time you can use it on Nasus. It seems like it makes the deck like less high rolly, maybe? Spirit Leech is Glimpse Beyond, yeah. But there's no play effect. It's like Fortune Croaker. You play it, you get 2 cards. Okay, so Kindred. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill units with my mark. So Kindred in an Endure deck. Right now, Endure only plays Callista, and it's like Allegiance with 3 Dehu Endure. If you play Kindred and Nasus, you can have Kindred as like the board control, like take out a weak unit every turn. I think because of cards like Blighted Caretaker, that might be pretty good. Because with Blighted Caretaker, you can kill like their weak units with 2/1s. That's literally what Caretaker is for. And then the big dudes are left, and then you have Kindred to take those off. Obviously, she comes down on turn 5, so it is kind of awkward. But you should be able to control the board in that way, like early game, right? Among cards like Withering Will and Foul Feast, you're going to have some board control. If you just play this package and a Nasus package, I think you're already looking at a pretty solid, like, control-y deck. I'm like so down to give Kindred like a 4. But I'm so scared she will end up being like a 1 because she's just like redundant in sacrifice decks. But this makes sacrifice decks so cool. I mean, Callista has always felt bad. Kindred actually kind of seems like she could get a lot of work done if she pops off. But then right now you think about decks like Ezreal Draven, and they will laugh at Kindred. They will like just pull up their middle finger and then just kill him with like a stun and a flock. There's nothing to protect your units either in these decks. Medium deck. Glimpse combat and Rite of Calling. Butcher are your ways to activate Kindred. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Activating her is not the issue. I think the issue with Kindred is playing a 5-mana 4/4 that will have her effect go off at the end of the round. On turn 5, it's not really going to be that easy to stick a 4/4 in Shurima Shadow Isles. I almost feel like you go Targon to like have kind of like a removal engine going, and you know Targon can actually give Overwhelm if she's going to keep growing with a level 2 form. Man, I'm gonna do hot takes though. I'm not gonna like just fill this whole list with threes. I'm down to give Kindred a 4 and think that she will actually have a place in sacrifice decks and perform pretty well there. Ah, Kindred, my love. Ooh. She's hella cool, man. That level up, those like effects on the board, her art, beautiful. Kindred and Karina decks? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wait. Are you saying that Kindred will replace Vi in those decks? Kindred eats up aggro? Does it? I mean, I think Shadow Owls eats up aggro, and Kindred is like the cherry on top. Feels like she hard loses to control. Yeah, there's no way to protect her in like control matchups. That's my issue with Shurima Shadow Owls. Your units, you're gonna play her as a 4/4, and that's all she'll be. Yeah, Kindred does eat up really big units, but that's the thing. If when you start a game, and your opponent sees you have Kindred in deck, they're going to save their removal for that. If you're going to play against control, you have to rely on the sacrifice package to kill them before that. Kindred isn't gonna like make or break the matchup. If anything, she's gonna break it, I think. But against mid-range decks, Kindred is ridiculous. Against mid-range decks, Kindred will eat them alive. I'm just imagining like not having full control as a Demacia deck, and then Kindred comes down. And every turn, my weakest unit dies until like they get to the bigger stuff. Because there is plenty of ways to like apply pressure, forcing your opponent to trade, and then Kindred can come in super clutch. Alright, I'm sticking with a 4 right now because I think against aggro you're already kind of good with Shadow Owl decks, and against mid range, Kindred looks insane. Against control, she doesn't look like she will do anything. But if you time it right, then you know, maybe. Alright, Kindred Spirit Journey. 5-mana fast spell. Kill a unit, then revive it. Create a Kindred in your deck. Kill a unit, then revive it. It's kind of like the 4-mana card. I forgot the... God, I used to be so good at remembering these names. What's the Shadow Owl 4-drop that kills and then... Scribe? No, that's a 3 card. That's a 3-mana card, right? Yeah, the Chronicler. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Chronicler of Rune. Yeah. Kill an ally. Oh, this is ally, though. So... What is this good against? Is this good in combat? It doesn't seem that good. I'm happy having this as like Kindred spell, but it doesn't seem very good other than that. It's actually super hilarious. It's like it can be a deny for spells, right? What if your opponent atrocity something and they use this on the atrocity target? Does the spell fizzle? I think it does. I think this is like a 2. But the thing is, you're not like it. This will. I don't think you play this in a deck ever, but you're not unhappy having this as Kindred's champion spell. I don't really see the uses for this right now in a deck like this at all. Yeah, I'm sticking with a 2 here. It doesn't say in their place, so things should fizzle. Yeah, that makes sense then. All right. Yeah, then there's some uses. So like I said, it's coming kind of clutch. It's nice in Undying. Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah. Still, I think in Undying decks, it's kind of overkill maybe. But then again, I'm not an Undying expert, so. Okay, Fading Icon. When I'm summoned, summon a prey. This card looks insane to me. This is so good for sacrifice decks. Just having that 0/1 like people started playing the Pesky Spectre just to have like an easy activator. You're gonna keep this 0-1 like around on the board. It's like whenever you need it, you'll play it. If you need a blocker, here's Prey. This seems so good. I really like this card. Having a 3-1 in a deck like that, also pretty good. Yeah, I like this, like, so much. I'm actually dishing out my first 5 because everything about this card I just like so much. This is really the kind of card that will make a deck like that even more consistent. You don't have to first play a unit, and then, like, that's what Cursed Keeper kind of did. Cursed Keeper felt so awkward, but it was usually like around long enough until you had the time to activate it or until you needed to activate it. It just looks cool. Does everything. It checks all my boxes if I were to ever play a deck like this. Alright, Lamb's Respite. 2 mana slow, gift the weakest ally, I can't take damage or die this round. This is so weird. I don't even think you play this in this type of deck. There's so many like worthless units around that this doesn't do anything. I think this is meant for a different kind of SI decks. Nightfall activated might push Nocturne to meta. The onto Dusk. Oh yeah. Alright, that's good to keep in mind when we get to this one. It's really interesting. The 2 mana card seems like Pure SI. Hell no. That'll never get played. It's nothing to do. Like Shadow Isles doesn't help you win combat trades in an unfair way. Well, just play this with out of the way. On ephemerals against your own ruination. Oh, against your own ruination is a very interesting application of this. It's a pretty obvious setup though. When you attack, the thing is you can't choose which one. Like maybe I'm just tunneling on it too much because Lamb's Respite got released in this batch in a deck that looks to play like sacrifice units and stuff. So it doesn't seem like you're really going to use this to protect a strong unit. But if there's like that's why it's so awkward that it's an SI. SI doesn't play a mid-range game plan like most other decks do. It's not like turn 1 play your strongest unit, turn 2 play your strongest unit, turn 3 play your strongest unit. They just don't do that. They play kind of weak units and then they sacrifice them to get the benefits. But you're still going to have those weak units around, so I don't see how you ever find like a good time to play this. Like look at every SI deck that was in control. Even in Go Hard, all the units were like small. I mean, Go Hard obviously isn't like a mid-range deck, but it does kind of play for board. It's like one of their ways to win. They Who Endure would never play this. There's always like something smaller alive. I don't even see you play this in like the Ephemeral Plaza. It seems weak. It seems too difficult to use. Too niche. Watch me be wrong and just an entire deck just gets brought into the meta because of this card. But I don't see it. Alright, Song of the Owls. Probably like one of the coolest names and like arts for a card that they've released recently. 2 mana burst, grant an ally lifesteal, fearsome, and ephemeral. So it's like Mark of the Owls. It's like the exact same card or art, but it's red. This is really hard to evaluate whether this is good or just not good enough. It has ephemeral, like you give your unit ephemeral, so it won't activate Slay. Lifesteal is pretty good to get in a deck like this though. I think this is a 3. This feels like a pretty obvious 3. It's like, what deck would play this? If you're playing a fearsome deck, it might be pretty good. If you're playing this in a sacrifice deck, it doesn't seem good enough. Unless you really need to like kill a unit. No, that doesn't even make sense. I think it's a 3. I think it's playable in fearsome decks, but I think that's about it. Like mid-range fearsome deck. If there's like a Nasus fearsome deck, then yeah, this is probably good enough to be included. Okay, Mask Mother. 2 mana 2/2 fearsome. Kill an ally to grant me its stats and keywords. So we're just gonna wait for Mask Mother to kill Victor and just, you know, usurp him. Man, what a strange card to evaluate too. But I think this is really, really, really good in Kindred decks. Granting stats and keywords, and it's like a prey activator. Slay activator. But even if you use this on prey, you have a 2-mana 2/3 with Fearsome. That's pretty good. It's like a unit on the board. Use this on Curse Keeper is also pretty good. Or like you give something... Wait, it doesn't say... I'm gonna guess it only copies like the positive keywords. So if you use Song of the Owls on something and then you eat it with Mask Mother, you will get the lifesteal because he already has Fearsome, but not Ephemeral, right? Damn, this card is awesome. I really like this. I think this is an auto-include in like Dehu and Endure decks. Mask Mother is just grant a unit +2/+2 and Fearsome, unless it's... Yeah, exactly. But wait, what happens if it's on Ephemeral, though? Does he get Ephemeral? Because that's horrible. Copying keywords shouldn't work with that, right? I'm gonna assume that it doesn't copy Ephemeral, and in that case, it's a 4. If it copies Ephemeral, it's a 3. Yeah, yeah, I'm sticking with that. It just seems like such a good activator. Like a Jack Butcher, but you actually like put the unit on her instead of just making it go into the void. Alright, onto Dusk. 2-mana burst, draw 1. Nightfall, activate an ally's Nightfall effect, ignoring any targeted portions. If it's like Victor or like Planipore, most likely... Yeah, I would assume... I would assume that it doesn't copy negative keywords. It can eat a stack Undying. Exactly, like Undying loves this card. Loves Mask Mother. A huge beat stick that can block. Exactly. That's something like an Undying deck needs, right? They usually just lose because they can't block attacks from the opponent. So I like it. Mask Mother is fantastic. Alright, onto Dusk. So activating an ally's Nightfall effect. Honestly, if Nightfall decks weren't terrible right now, this would be like an auto-include. But I haven't played that deck in such a long time, and I wouldn't really know what the deck is actually lacking to make it strong. I'm not sure if this is it. Like, what effect do you want to activate? Nocturne is pretty good if you're playing like some kind of fearsome deck, and then you give everything -1 attack again. Alright, let's see if this works. I mean, it's not terrible. This is terrible because it's permanent. This seems not that good. I mean, Aphelio seems pretty good. Kinda. This is also pretty good, giving a +2 again. This is probably like one of the best uses. Oh, Eclipse Dragon is really good. I mean, these effects are not like that good. If the Nightfall effect were any better, I'd give it higher. But I think it does draw 1. But this can often... My mic disconnected. But I was saying this can often get stuck in your hand if you can't find a good Nightfall like activator. Or Nightfall card. Like, you will most often just play this on a Doom Beast because you just have nothing else. And then it's just a deal 2, heal 2. Draw 1 for 2 mana. Actually, when you put it like that, that seems pretty sweet. I still don't think it's good enough, though. I want to think this card is good because the art is super sweet. But... Alright, Spirit Leech. 4 mana, 4/1. Play, kill an ally to draw 2. That seems really good. On 3 mana, like on 4 mana, what will most likely be the thing you sacrifice? You're still like 4 mana is a big commitment though. That's the only issue I have with it, and you only get a 4/1 for it. And like Spirit Leech, this card will find a place in the deck at some point. It's a draw 2. If it had 2 health, if this was 2 health instead of 1, this would be a 5. Yeah, like you said it the exact, like I read it the exact same time as I said it. But if this had 2 health, it would be a 5. it would just instant 5 stars. Glimpse on a stick? Yeah, but on a stick is very positive in card games. Seems super good. Yeah, focus glimpse on a stick. That's perfect. That's exactly what it is. So the way you look at it, because it's like it's focus glimpse, right? Focus glimpse would be an insane card, but because you pay 2 more mana, you get a 4/1 body. Would you pay 2 mana for a 4/1 body? Not really. But you do get focus glimpse. So I think this is like an entirely fair card when you look at it that way. But I mean, when I say entirely fair, it's like, okay, it makes sense when you combine those cards in that way. But honestly, just the fact you get a card like this as like another thing to draw, make your deck more consistent, it seems really good. Is it worth playing? Yeah, but you don't get the risk that you have with Glimpse. Like with Glimpse, Glimpse can get denied. This doesn't get denied. I think 4 is accurate. More aggro. I don't know if it's aggro necessarily. Like 4 mana 4/1, that's pretty slow. If you're like trying to stabilize, you're somewhat happy if they play this. Unless you can't block it, then you're just taking 4. But in a mid-range deck, like this seems great in a Kindred deck to like get the pressure, keep the pressure going. No, it's not a skill that goes on a stack. There's no little circle in front of it, so it's instant. It's focus. Focus speed. Here in the Ether Fiend, it says play with a little circle in front of it. Speaking of which, 7 mana 6/4 with Fearsome. Kill an ally to kill an enemy. So, like mentioned earlier, it's Crumble without the ability to kill landmarks. 7 mana is pretty steep. That's like they who endure mana. Looks pretty good with Undying. Yeah, everything just looks good with Undying now. Who knows? Maybe maybe Shurima is actually the way to go for Undying. Like, I wonder if one day Undying will be more than just like that card that you have to build your entire deck around. What if you make a Kindred deck and you just include Undying so you can kill something every turn? Like, look at all these kill effects. There's so many of them. Maybe there's like a Kindred Undying deck. Last Breath deck seems to be the focus this set. Yeah, there's a lot of synergy for it. It kinda, you know, Shurima doesn't really have any Last Breath decks themselves, but the other supporting sets seems to really promote it. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure about Ether Fiend though. I think it's a little too slow. I'm gonna play it safe. I think it's a 3. Maybe somebody can change my mind because the card is looking pretty sweet. But like a slow crumble. Okay, so if you're into like mid to late game, and then suddenly you play Ether Fiend on like your opponent's biggest unit, and they don't have a Fearsome blocker, that's still like 6 face damage. That's not terrible, but seems niche. So often get stuck in your hand in a deck like this, I think. 6 attack is a nice amount though. Sum up the new cards in 3 words. I like dying. Yeah, you know, everything. It's all about death and dying. It's Kindred. I wanna die. Yeah, that's even better actually. Honestly, pretty solid. I like this set of cards. It's probably not gonna be like meta breaking. It's just going to make the Endure decks. I keep calling them Endure, but obviously Shurima's the way to go now. It's just Nasus Kindred.